Yo, what's up, guys? This is YNOT Be Reckless, aka YNOT Be Casting. I'm one of the HCS commentators, and we have another HCS weekly report for you, where today we're going to be talking about the top 12, moving on from the open series from Sunday over to Thursday. And let me tell you, there were plenty of upsets, some amazing storylines as well, and I can't wait to talk about every last one of them. Before we do that, make sure you like, subscribe down below, and if you actually already watched the event, comment down below what was your favorite match. I have one in mind, but I want to know what you guys were thinking. All right, let's get started. So, FaZe versus Complexity. We got a 3-0 here. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm shocked. I was really happy with what Complexity were able to do over at Charlotte, and I think they're really good. But Tusk is coming fresh off of I guess he was on like a little vacation and wasn't able to make it out of work or something because he didn't compete last week. Instead, they had, I believe it was Diagram filling in for Tusk. Now Tusk is coming back. It'll take a little bit to get into, get back into fighting shape. And then on top of that, you're going up against FaZe, who are arguably the #1 team in the league. So I'm not gonna give too much crap for getting 3-0'd by FaZe. In the future, I would love to see Complexity win a game or win a game against FaZe, but even that's a lot to ask for them when FaZe are determined and motivated. It's gonna be tough for anybody to beat them, even Complexity. This was a matchup. This was a matchup for multiple different reasons. Native White, McWin, Barcode, Gilkey, and Tapping Buds going up against Nemesis, Triton, Squale, and Rami. This was a matchup for multiple different reasons. Cloud9 had Monster filling in for Nemesis just last week. Nemesis was on vacation. And last week, Cloud9 were able to beat Native White on their way to their first top 4 finish in these online Open Series 2K tournaments. And we consider that a bit of an outlier. Like, we know like Monsters like the online fill-in, team whisperer. Like, you just put them on any fill-in team online and they usually do really, really good. He adds a lot to the table. But we also knew that wasn't a permanent change, and we were wondering were Cloud9 going to be able to replicate that same success with Nemesis filling in, or I should say filling in, but coming back into a starting role instead of Monster. And in the first 2 games, it looked like they were. The first 2 games of this series, by the way, Cloud9 won it, and it was damn good. Like, I want to say it was a 2-0 in oddball the first game, but it was 2 very close rounds. It was the Slayer. I want to say it was like maybe like 50-37. I want to say so a good Slayer match. And then we go into, I want to say it was Strongholds, and it ended up being 250-238, where Cloud9 were even able to put a trip cap on the board towards the end game. But I believe it was Native White that eventually they had the lead. Cloud9 almost took it with that ending trip cap, but the Native White got the kills they were looking for, were able to close it out, and eventually after that pull off the reverse sweep. Cloud9 were close to going back-to-back weeks of beating out Native White, the very team that got 4th place back at Charlotte, but they weren't able to put that nail in the coffin. Squale in some of these games were going crazy, by the way. Trey was doing his things both in the kills and the assist department. This was a really fun match to watch. I got to cast this personally, that's why I remember so much about it. But it was either way, it was Native White that come out with the reverse sweep and move on. But this was a very good matchup to watch. Before we get to this matchup right here, I keep telling y'all Monster is the fill-in team whisperer. I keep telling y'all. Sentinels going up against Proton Gaming. The reminder, Sentinels spawned King Nick, Lethal, and Collect. Going up against Posey, Common, Breaking Shot. By the way, we had Posey actually last week, was phenomenal. Haynes did retire. So they bring in Monster, and immediately Proton Gaming are able to 3-1 Sentinels. Let me repeat that. They bring in Monster. Again, I'm telling you, the online fill-in team whisperer. No matter you fill them onto a team, they will do the best they've ever done. Monster fills in, and they 3-1 Sentinels. What an upset. Good for Proton Gaming. Good for them. And I don't know if this is going to be a permanent move. I'm not sure. I don't know if this was just, Monster filling in for one event. Well, in this case, I guess 2 days, but one event. If they make it over to the top 12, they move on to Thursday. But what a win against the Sentinels roster. Good for Proton Gaming. I wanted to point that out. Eventually, there's levels to this. And, of course, Space Station Gaming, again, that Eco, Penguin, Stellar, and Bound lineup, we're able to 3-0 sweep Proton Gaming. I'm not going to say there's much of a surprise. Oftentimes, I will say that Breaking Shots gameplay does remind me a lot of Bound, but he ain't Bound. And although I love Proton Gaming, they aren't SSG. SSG are a hard counter to their gameplay, and just an overall really tough team to go against. Space Station Gaming come up with the 3-0. G1 going up against Matrix, and mind you, this is the same Matrix team from last week that were one round away from making it to Championship Thursday. They were one round away from making it to the top 12, ended up in top 16, and even come in this week, and they're able to take steal a game off of G1, who are one of the better teams in the league. They got second place just last week. I would say a top 4 team in the league. So Matrix to come out, evicted Red the Sweat, Bepix, and Glitchy to come out and steal a game off of G1 is big. Glitchy was starting to make some waves over towards the end of Halo 5. Bepix was teaming with J-Grav and Sylvonic for a bit. Alongside Black Hand or the Hand roster. Red the Sweat, former teammate of Breaking Shot. They used to be that duo for quite some time. And then Invicted, who was making his name in the 1v1 scene back during the Honda Fan Cup. Also damn good at 4v4s as well, to be able to take a game off of G1. So good for them. We'll see if they make it through this week. And then finally, Rebellion versus the Avengers. But no, it was at the end. Okay, never mind. It was in the lower bracket. Never mind. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Rebellion versus the Avengers. Rebellion come up with the same roster as they did before. The Avengers actually coming up with a little bit of a different roster. You still have Huss, Precision, and Ironical, who. Precision Ironical back with, I believe, the Hype Squad going into Charlotte alongside Monster. Eventually, Huss fills in for Monster on his roster, and now Swish Fives, who was recently dropped off of Team Meta while napping, was recently dropped off of Team Meta, picked up by the Avengers. They take Rebellion to a Game 5, weren't able to come out with the win, but a close matchup indeed. And to me personally, I know it doesn't work 1-for-1 this way, but I was watching between who had the better tournament, the Avengers or Team Meta. I was really curious because when Team Meta dropped Switch, I was surprised. I mean they were working so well together. They didn't exactly hit the heights we wanted to. Back at Charlotte, they did end up getting swept by Complexity in pool play. I didn't really like that much, but online they were doing really well. They took G1 to a Game 5. They made it to the top 12 seemingly with ease, and every one of their matchups were really tough. Like they were really good with Swish, and then seemingly dropped him. And Neurotica was in the chat. Was in the chat earlier. They decided to pick him up, see how things go, and they're able to push Rebellion to a Game 5, which I think is good, but not quite able to get the win there. Let's see what happens between the Avengers and Team Meta, because we got something to talk. We're going to talk about that a little bit, but we'll save that for the lower bracket. Eventually, G1 are able to 3-1 Rebellion, and I I like Rebellion a lot. I think everybody knows that, but I just think there's levels to this, and I think Rebellion are, you know, a top 8 team fighting for top 6, and I think at their best they can get top 4. My problem is I think G1 are like legit, like I think G1 are like legitimately a top 4 team, and they're fighting for a top 3 or a top 2. So I just think that they're at different levels right now. Was excited to see Suspector go up against his former teammates and Ryan and Rain. There was a little bit of a storyline there. Probably no bad blood or anything, but just that was fun to watch. I think Rebellion played well. I got a chance to watch this live, but G1 are just a little bit of a different beast. And that's not to say I don't think that not to say I don't think that Rebellion can beat G1. I think Rebellion have a fighting chance no matter what the matchup is. And anybody gets the league. I just think G1 are the favorites, so I wasn't surprised by G1 winning. And that leaves us with FaZe versus Native White going into Thursday. That matchup gets to happen here, and I'm gonna have FaZe winning this out. And I don't often say 3-0s, but I think I'm going to say 3-0s, and it's nothing against Native White whatsoever. I know how good Native White are, but I also know how good FaZe are. And I just it's hard for me to say, you know what, I'll say 3-1. I'll say 3-1. I think FaZe can 3-0. I'll give them this. Sometimes the FaZe boys will start off a little slow, so maybe Native White could steal the first game from them. So I'll give them that. Maybe we'll say 3-1. But I think FaZe have the skill and the capability of 3-0ing most teams in the league, and that includes Native White. But I'll say 3-1. Native White win the first game, and then FaZe win the next 3 after that. Space Station Gaming versus G1. This is going to be a little like mini rivalry, and I don't think people even like realize it. I said it before, Space Station Gaming are the number 3 team in the league. G1, in my opinion, are the number 4 team in the league, and I think eventually G1 are going to surpass Space Station Gaming at some point this year. That's what I said before. I'm a little scared of saying that now, because I think Space Station Gaming look a lot better than I expected them to going into season 2, and I think G1, although look really, really good, I'm not sure if I'm ready to say. I'm not sure I'm ready to say that they look that good on land, but we'll see. I'm gonna stay true to my guns, and I'm gonna say eventually G1 surpass Space Station Gaming. What I will also say is that this is an online tournament that factors in. Space Station Gaming notoriously not as good online as they are on land. G1, a very good online team, and also good on land as well. So with that being said, I would say if this matchup was played on land today, I would say SSG win it. Not even joking, I really would. But the fact that it's being played online, and the fact that, we'll say that SSG like are a 9 online, but they're like an 8. I'm sorry, a 9 on land, but they're like an 8 online. And I would say G1 are like an 8 on land, but like a 9 online. They're out of 10 stars, if that makes sense. I'm going to say that because it's played online, I think G1 win. But I think if this matchup was played today or on Thursday on land, I honestly think I give SSG the edge up. I think these two teams are so close, and I think everything matters. Online, on land, not even just that. Who had a good breakfast? Who got 8 hours of sleep or not? Who started off their day with coffee? I think these two teams are so close that everything matters, even outside of the actual game itself, outside of the actual series itself. Give me G1. They were able to beat them out last week where G1 got second place, so why shouldn't I be able to think that they could do it again? And ultimately, that would leave G1 versus FaZe. And although G1 were able to beat FaZe in the Charlotte qualifier, a lot of people don't remember that, but during the first Charlotte qualifier, G1 did beat out FaZe. I still have FaZe winning that, and I'll say 3-1, but I could definitely see that going to Game 5 as well, where FaZe make it to the grand finals through the elimination bracket. I would go with that. Let's check out the lower bracket because this is where the magic happens. And let me say, there was some magic down here in the lower bracket. Trying to find. Okay. Wow. Okay, we got something to talk about here. So, all right, we're gonna start up on the top. Sentinels 3-0 Mickey. By the way, Mickey, one of the worst names. One of the worst names in Halo Infinite, as far as he's. But we talked about M305 earlier. I think I've played with him a few times. I want to say he's even been in my chat a few times as well. And I've run into NSG Serial all the way back in Halo 5 when he was playing SWAT in 2v2 tournaments, but always was a good 4v4 competitor as well. They made it one round away from making it to Thursday. Sadly, they ran into Sentinels. The Avengers 3-0ing Lies. Lies were a really good squad. I know. Kid Nasty is a Las Vegas local to Garrett. Clutches was formerly of Status Quo, and then Kruvo and Seven have been teaming for quite a bit. I ran into them in like some random like fun customs, but even then we were playing like Fiesta, and I was getting shredded by like their Stalker rifles, their BRs, and I could tell I was like, wow, these guys are young. And they got some skill. For some reason, Seven keeps trying to get me to join his Discord. Seven, please leave me alone. But a 3-0 for Swish's new team. And I will say, you know, they took Rebellion to a Game 5. They made it to Thursday. You know, this is not a bad squad. Maybe Swish might have found a new home alongside Neurotical, Precision, and Huss. This is where things got interesting. I was casting this match, but while I was casting this match, I saw Swish was in the chat the entire time. Mind you, Team Meta were the ones who dropped Swish. Eventually, they stole both with the very roster, the Avengers roster that Swish was competing on now. They pretty much just like swapped players, and Bo went over to the other side while Swish went over to the Avengers. Swish was in the chat, and he wasn't being disrespectful, but he was stirring the pot. I made a little bit of a joke, and and I said that somewhere out there, Swish is in his going rogue jersey, rooting for Team Meta to fail. And when he heard that, his response was "Go Lee, go." Envoy's name is Lee, by the way, for those you don't know. That was his response to me saying that. And let me tell you something. Going rogue finally looked like the team we know them to be. Dude, going rogue played every single engagement right. They were winning their 1v1 gunfights. They were playing into the team fight. They were being objective efficient, and sometimes overslaying a little bit, but that was okay because eventually those overslays led to them grabbing the objective. Like if a team overslays and win, I'm fine with that. Like, secure your kills. You know, don't put yourself in a bad situation where you think you're playing for an early ball and you end up dying. Like, so I'm not mad the way Going Rogue played whatsoever. Arctic was an absolute phenom, putting damage onto almost everyone on the map. Tony Two-Turn, when he got the sniper rifle, he was going off. Parzelli, when he had the sniper rifle, he was going ham. Oh my gosh. And mind you, those are two players that come over from Call of Duty. And then Envor, who was not only playing well, but playing so smart, playing his life when he had to. Back when it was a 48 to 49 on Empyrean Pit. and he's just playing his life masterfully over toward the courtyard side, buying so much time for the rest of his team to push up and secure the win on that side. Just everything about going rogue was playing well. This is not a situation where Team Meta lost this matchup. This is a situation where going rogue stepped up and won the series. And in multiple close games, they simply did not choke. It was really good for them. Team Meta did look dominant there. I think it was a King of the Hill, and it was like a 4-1. So in the win that Team Meta did get, they did look dominant, but the rest of the series was so close. And I like that even more because I feel like, you know, with going rogue being, you know, this scrappy team, you know, and now an open bracket team, you know, I think some of these lower seeded teams are tested based on how they can close out a close game. When the game is down to the wire, can you put the nail in the coffin or will you choke? And going rogue did not choke. In fact, they submitted Team Meta. Team Meta played well. I didn't think Team Meta played bad whatsoever. There was one play on a period where it was kind of saying that where Envor bought so much time with his life that eventually multiple members of going rogue kind of overwhelmed the tower and cut side. And then by the time they were looking for the final kill, you know, you had multiple members of Team Meta stuck, not even in the shotgun side of the map, in the shotgun room, but they were stuck outside. You saw 3 players crouched in needle pit right outside the shotgun room, and I didn't think that. I didn't see what happened there, like what led to that, but the end result looked a little bit weird to me. That was the only critique I had. Other than that, I think Team Meta played really well. I just think going rogue were freaking on one. So good for them. 3-1 for going rogue. Eventually, Native Red are able to 3-1 Needed Org. Again, not really surprised here. I like Needed Org. I like all the players on their team. I just think they ran into Native Red in the lower bracket. Like, what are you gonna do? You know, like that's just really unlucky, if you ask me. When it comes to these matchups, Sentinels went up against Complexity. I think this has the ability to be an upset. I think Complexity can win against Sentinels. I think they can win, but just because I think they can win doesn't mean I'm gonna you know, put my money on it. I would say Sentinels are the favorites for a reason, and I think Sentinels should win this 3-2. Like it's gonna go down to a game 5, but don't count Complexity out. Cloud9 versus Avengers. You know, I mean, Cloud9 coming off of a 4th place last week, but that was with Monster. They almost were able to beat out Native White. You know, if you had asked me, like, if you asked me before Charlotte's matchup, I say Cloud9 win it, honestly. Damn. I'm sorry, I gotta think about this one for a second. There's a lot of matchups here. Swish versus his former teammate in Squale. They both played on the G1. Neurotical versus his former teammate in Rammy. They both played on the Esports Arena Red back in season 1. And then Huss and Swish coming back together. Give me... Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by his toe. If he hollers, let him go. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Give me Cloud9 because they've been a team together a little bit longer. You know, Avengers still trying to implement Huss from a couple weeks ago. Now trying to implement Swish into the equation as well. A bit of a new team, and I think it's going to game 5, and I'll say 3-2 in favor of Avengers. Because not only have they been together longer, but the Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo's have never lied to me. Nirvana in the chat says he loves Rami. By the way, I just said former teammates. You know, wasn't trying to insinuate there was any kind of issues between the two. He loves Rami, and Rami loves anime. In case you guys remember that We Love Anime, it was a roster called We Love Anime before they got signed by Esports Arena Red. But apparently Rami was the only one who actually watched anime. Like it was, there was no We Love Anime. It was more like I love anime, and it was for Rami. Proton Gaming going up against Going Rogue. It's another close matchup because I in the past I would say Proton Gaming. I think Going Rogue slipped a little bit, but yesterday Going Rogue showed me that they're back, man. I'm really happy with Going Rogue, and I and every fiber in my being wants to go with them. They came in as the number 22 seed, guys. The number 22 seed, and they were able to beat out Team Meta, which by the way was the number 9 seed, by the way. I really want to go Going Rogue on this, but I'm gonna say Proton Gaming, especially with Monster, the fill-in team Whisperer. I'm gonna say 3-2. I think a lot of people are gonna say that I'm crazy for saying 3-2. I think a lot of people are gonna say, oh no, it's supposed to be a 3-0, but in Proton Gaming, a lot of people are gonna say it's supposed to be 3-1. But honestly, Going Rogue already were such a good squad. And I feel like they're finally starting to come into their own. Like yesterday showed me that Going Rogue are finally becoming the team that I thought they could be before Charlotte. So I'm gonna say this goes to a game 5, and I'm gonna say Proton Gaming winning out. And even Haynes, former member of Proton Gaming, newly retired, says it's gonna be 3-0 Proton Gaming. I'm gonna say 3-2 Proton Gaming. We'll see who was right on this one. And then finally, Rebellion going up against Native Red. You got the ultimate defense in Rebellion. Slow and steady wins the race, going up against the most aggressive team in the league, or at least were. Are they still? I know at one point they were. We'll keep that title, Native Red. So offense versus defense, bend but don't break from Rebellion, or always keeping your opponent on their back foot. I'll say, I know I want to go Rebellion on this one, but Native Red are the champions of last week. I gotta give them their flowers. Give me Native Red. I want it to be a 3-2. I think it's gonna be a 3-1. I want it to be a 3-2, and my heart's telling me 3-2, so I'm gonna go 3-2. But my brain is telling me this is gonna be a 3-1 for Native Red. And something tells me that Talek is gonna go off. I said there's gonna be a 3-1 for Native Red, and Talek's gonna drop 50 every game, including his Slayer. And that's gonna be your top 12 going on this Thursday. I'm gonna try to find the guest to do the live show with me for the pre-show. That will only be live. That won't be recorded like this one, guys, for the YouTube. So if you guys want to see what the updated standing is going to be, or what my guest is going to think what happens during the live show, make sure you stop by twitch.tv/YNOT_B_casting. That's going to be on Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning when we do the pre-show for the top 12. Thank you guys so much for stopping by stopping by the video. Make sure you like, subscribe down below, interact with the video in some way, shape, or form, and leave a comment. Let me know if you disagree with any of my takes, or if you think that I'm the next prophet that predicted everything right, because usually that's what the case is. Thank you so much, guys. Peace out.